The Lord used dreams in Don Bosco's life to guide him, direct him, assure him, and affirm him. Pope Pius IX told him to write them down. When the Pope learned 9 years later that Don Bosco had not written them, he ordered him to do so. He said to him, "This task must have priority over everything else. Put aside the rest and take care of this." Most of Don Bosco's dreams had to do with his life, his mission, his boys, and his religious order. Our Lady was a part of most of his dreams. There is one dream of Don Bosco's that Penny and I use in all our talks. He shared this vision with his boys on May 30th, 1862.
He saw two huge columns on a storm-tossed sea. In between the two columns was a large ship, the ship of the church, with our vicar, the Pope, at the helm. All around the ship were smaller ships and boats, some friendly, some enemies, all geared up for battle. The Pope was trying to anchor the ship of the church in between the two great columns. The larger one was the Eucharist, the smaller, Our Lady, Help of Christians. A great battle went on through the night. The Pope was wounded. He got up again. He was killed. There was a shout of victory from the enemy ships, but that Pope was replaced by a new Pope. Finally, the Pope managed to anchor the ship of the church in between the Eucharist and Our Lady. The enemy ships were defeated. They were retreating as the friendly ships let out a shout of joy for their victory. A great calm covered the sea.
The dream about the two columns has struck us from the first time we read it as being more for today's church than for the time of Don Bosco. We think of this vision as a directive to follow the greatest strengths of our church, the body of Christ in the Eucharist, the Mother of Christ, Mary, through the Vicar of Christ, our Pope.
January the 31st, 1888, Don Bosco gave his spirit over to Jesus. In 1934, 46 years after his death, he was officially raised to the communion of saints.
Visions which Don Bosco had in 1870 are prophecies about major insurrection against the Pope and the Church in the period of 1870 to 1875, from within the Church and the state. But listen to them. Could they be for this time? Wars will come from the south, peace from the north. The laws of France no longer recognize the Creator. The Creator will reveal himself by visiting her 3 times with the scourge of his wrath. The first time he will destroy her pride by defeat, pillage, and destruction of crops, cattle, and men. On his second visit, the great whore of Babylon, which the faithful grievingly call Europe's brothel, shall lose her leader and fall prey to chaos. On my third visit, you shall fall under foreign yoke. From afar your enemies will see your palaces in flames, your homes in ruins, soaked in the blood of your heroes who are no more. But behold, a great warrior from the north appears, a banner in his right hand, his arm bearing the inscription, "Irresistible is the hand of the Lord." At that moment, the venerable old man from Rome went forward to meet him, wielding a flaming torch. The banner then grew larger and its blackness became white as snow. In its center stood out the name of the Almighty in golden letters. The warrior and his followers bowed profoundly to the venerable old man, the Pope, and joined hands with him.
Now the voice of heaven is addressed to the shepherd of shepherds, the Pope. You are in solemn conference with your co-workers, bishops and cardinals. But the enemy of good never stands idle. He cunningly plots and sets all his wiles against you. He will sow discord among your helpers and will rear enemies among my sons. The powers of the world shall vomit fire. They would love to smother my words in the throats of the guardians of my law, but they shall not succeed. They shall do much harm, but only to themselves. Hurry. If knots cannot be untied, sever them. Do not halt in the face of difficulties, but go forth until the hydra of error has been beheaded. At this blow, earth and hell shall tremble, but the world will be saved and the faithful shall exult. Gather around you only 2 co-workers, yet wherever you go, carry on the task entrusted to you and bring it to completion. Days go by swiftly, and your years are reaching their appointed number. But the great Queen shall always assist you, and as in the past, she will always be the powerful, prodigious defense of the Church.
But you, O Italy, land of blessings, who has plunged you into desolation? Not your enemies, but your own friends. Do you not hear your children begging for the bread of faith, unable to find one to break it for them? What shall I do? I shall strike the shepherds and scatter the sheep, so that those who sit upon the chair of Moses may seek better pastures, and their flock may gently listen and be fed. But my hand shall be heavy upon both flock and shepherds. Famine, plague, and war shall cause mothers to mourn the blood of their sons and husbands shed on foreign soil. What shall befall you, ungrateful, effeminate, proud Rome? You have reached a point when you seek and admire naught in your sovereign but luxury, forgetting that both your glory and his glory lies on Golgotha. Now he is old, the venerable old man of Rome, the Pope, frail, defenseless, and dispossessed. Nevertheless, though captive, his words cause the whole world to tremble. O Rome, 4 times shall I come to you. The first time I shall smite your regions and its people. The second time I shall bring slaughter and destruction to your very gates. Should that not make you open your eyes? A third time shall I come, and I will demolish your defenses and defenders. At my Father's command, terror, dismay, and desolation will reign.
My wise followers flee, but my law is still trod underfoot. Therefore I shall come a 4th time. Woe to you if my law again shall go unheeded. There shall be defections among both learned and ignorant. Your blood and that of your children shall wipe out your transgressions. And you, priests, why are you not prostrate between the vestibule and the altar, weeping and praying so the scourge may cease? Why do you not take up the shield of faith and preach my word from the rooftops, in the houses, streets, and squares, and even in inaccessible places? Do you not know that this is the terrible two-edged sword which smites my enemies and placates the wrath of God and man?
But the great Queen of heaven is at hand. The Lord's power is hers. Like mist she shall scatter her enemies. There shall yet come a violent hurricane. Iniquity is at an end. Sin shall cease. And before 2 full moons have shone in the month of flowers, the rainbow of peace shall appear on the earth. The great minister shall see the bride of his king clothed in glory. Throughout the world a sun so bright shall shine as was never seen since the flames of the cenacle until today, nor shall it be seen again until the end of time.